Hi everyone, Andy here from Andy's Tech Tone. I don't usually do that, but let me kick off this review with a bold statement. I have never seen or used any headphones that are more green than the Fairbuds XL from Fairphone. These cool looking over-ears are as green as they come, both literally and metaphorically speaking. And if all that wasn't enough to get your attention yet, how about if I say that the headphones are modular and easy to repair too? Now that should be interesting enough for you to stick around for a little longer, or is it? Oh yeah, you stayed, which means that you want to know what this green talk is all about. Well, first of all, there is this bright green and orange colorway of the headphones, which I personally like a lot. Sure, they come in black too, but so do all the other headphones on the market. But these are not quite like any other headphones on the market now, are they? And that's where Fairphone, the manufacturer of these headphones, comes in. Fairphone is one of the few companies which does not only talk about being green, but they in fact try and create more sustainable and environmental friendly products, such as their smartphones or now the Fairbuds XL headphones. In this case, sustainability means that the cans are made from 100% recycled aluminum, 100% recycled tin solder paste, and 80% recycled plastics. And according to the company's mission, they do not only put the planet first, but also the people by following procedures and practices that have as little impact as possible on everything and everyone involved in the supply chain or in the actual production. So that's the green part covered, but if you want more details on that, then click on the link in the description. And before we move on to modularity, here's a quick disclaimer. I got the headphones from the manufacturer for testing, but I'm not getting paid for doing this review, and no one got preview privileges either, so I'm completely free to say whatever I want. So, back to the design of the headphones. It's built from several modular parts, all of which you can replace or repair yourself easily by buying spare parts from the Fairphone website. You can get a new headband, replace the battery, or get completely new speakers should anything happen to either of these parts down the road. Quite a mind-blowing idea if you ask me. So that's the modularity part covered. Onto the general design of the headphones, I find them fresh and modern looking. We get an IP54 rating, which makes the headphones dust, splash and sweat resistant. What we also get is some squeaks and rattles here and there, but the overall build quality is okay, considering the almost Lego-like build and the fact that you can easily take it apart yourself. Thanks to the solid clamping force of the headband, the headphones sit firmly and securely on my head without being either loose or excessively tight. The cushioning on the headband and on the ear pads is fairly soft, and even though we don't get a luxurious amount of cushioning there, I found long-term comfort to be okay. But things can get a bit too hot inside the vegan leather ear pads after a while, but I tend to have heat management issues with most closed back over-ear headphones, so I guess these are about average in that regard. But there is plenty room inside for my ears, especially for the rather compact size of the ear cups, which will not fold completely flat. But at least they fold in, and this way when traveling or commuting, you can safely store the headphones away in the carry pouch that comes in the box. And if you're wondering, yes, the pouch is also made from 100% recycled textile. And while mentioning the box, I've got two notes to make. First, you won't find a USB cable or a charger in there, and in the name of sustainability, I'm okay with that, as at this stage everyone should have a USB-C cable hanging around. But what I wasn't happy about was the fact that when I took the headphones out of the box for the first time, the soft vegan leather was already damaged on both sides of the headband. Maybe it was just somebody who was not careful enough when packing my sample, or maybe it's the box that is too tight in general, and those cardboard flaps can scrape off the leather from the headband when you close the lid of the box. I don't know. It's nothing major, and I could always get the headband replaced if I wanted to, but this is something I found to be worthy of a mention. Moving on, the battery can last up to 26 or 30 hours depending on whether you use the ANC or not. And even if these are respectable numbers, they are not quite as outstanding as the fact itself that the battery is also easily replaceable. And 20 euros for a new battery sounds like a fair deal since we talk about headphones that cost 250 euros. And the reason for me talking about prices in euros and not dollars is that the headphones are only available in Europe as of making this video. Back to the battery, you get a USB Type-C port, but there is no quick charging and again, no cable or charger in the box to cut down on e-waste. Next, let's talk a bit about connectivity. First things first, there is no 3.5mm headphone jack, only the USB port. And when I used the headphones connected to my Mac Studio with a USB-C to USB-C cable, the sound was thin and bright, so it wasn't my favorite at all. You might be better off buying the USB-C to headphone jack cable for 13 euros from Fairphone if you want a higher quality wired connection, but I'm not sure how much that will help. But as you will see later on, there is nothing wrong with the sound of the Fairbuds XL in a Bluetooth mode. And the same can be said about the wireless connection in general, as the Bluetooth version 5.1 compliant chip on board gave me everything I expected in terms of audio codecs and signal stability. We got SBC, AAC and aptX HD support, there are no lip sync issues, I found pairing to be quick and easy with both Android and iOS devices, and if you are happy with a lag of somewhere between 100 and 200 milliseconds, then gaming should be okay too. But the best thing about the wireless connection of the Fairbuds XL is that the headphones support multi-point use, which means that we can have the headphones connected to any two devices simultaneously, and that includes iOS, Android, Windows and Mac devices as well. Switching between the two sources can be either manual or automatic depending on your use case, and the switch happens in an instant, no delay or hiccups there. And on compatible devices such as Android phones, you can keep using the aptX HD codec even in multipoint mode. And before moving on to the next chapter of this video, let me give you a quick audio sample from the built-in microphones on the Fairbuds XL. So this is the audio quality you can expect when making a phone call with these headphones in a quiet environment. This time I'm standing by the side of a fairly busy road on a very windy day like today. So this is the audio quality you can expect from the built-in microphone of the Fairphone Fairbuds XL headphones. Onto the controls, we got a multifunctional joystick and an ANC button on the back of the right ear cup. With that joystick we can control play, pause, volume up and down, or we can skip a track forward and backward. The joystick functions as an on-off switch as well, while using the ANC button gives us control over the 3 different ambient modes, and it can also put the Fairbuds XL into Bluetooth pairing mode. So basically we can control everything between these two buttons, and I have to say that it doesn't really get any better than that. The aluminum stick is one of my favorite hardware controls I've ever used on a headphone. It's accurate with quick reaction times, and it's got that premium feel. The same applies to the ANC button. It's all simple and very easy to use. One feature that's missing is automatic play and pause due to the lack of those smart sensors that would detect when you take the headphones off. Next up is the smartphone app, and even though it works on both Android and iOS, there are not that many functions and settings you can play around with. Besides the must-haves such as a quick start guide and firmware updates, all we got are 4 EQ presets. But there are 2 things I love about the app. One is that Sonarworks named their EQ presets after cities. So we got Amsterdam, Tokyo, Boston and Copenhagen, and not the usual and boring bass boost or treble boost. The other thing I love about the app is that when you swipe across that picture in the main menu, you will see a dissected image of your headphones with a detailed description of all the parts you can replace individually. And going to the Fairphone website from the app, you can indeed order any of these spare parts. Not that you can do much else with the app, but this is definitely something worthy of your attention. But again, the app does nothing else. And even if we get a pretty decent active noise cancelling feature on board, you will find no ambient mode settings, sliders or switches in the app to fine-tune or customize its behavior at all. That said, pressing the ANC button on the right ear cup toggles through the 3 different modes, which are noise cancelling, ambient sound and noise cancelling off. The noise cancelling again does a decent job at taming noises such as white noise on an airplane or the humming noise of an AC unit, but background chatter or other higher frequency random noises can prove to be more challenging at times. This is where the best ANC headphones such as Sony and Bose can do much better indeed. And the same applies to the ambient mode. Not that it's not transparent or loud enough for carrying out a quick conversation without having to take the headphones off, but it sounds a bit muffled and digital to me. Both the ambient and the ANC mode produce some hiss, but it's not too bad, and I've never had that vacuumy, pressury feeling inside the ear cups, which contributes to the long-term comfort of the headphones when traveling. On the other hand, comfort during outside use might take a hit in windy areas because regardless of what mode you are in, wind noise is always present and it's not pleasant. Especially in ambient mode, it can get way too harsh and distracting, so I cannot recommend using the Fairbuds XL in windy areas on the regular. But what I can recommend is using the headphones for music listening on the daily, but only in Bluetooth mode as I mentioned it before. But with a wireless connection, the sound is smooth, powerful and pleasant overall. Inside the replaceable modules, you can find a 40mm dynamic driver on each side. SonarWorks, a well-known name in the calibration and personalized audio business, provided 4 sound profiles for Fairphone, with the Amsterdam preset being the so-called default setting. And this is my personal favorite too, not only because Amsterdam is one of my favorite cities, but also because I found it to be the most balanced and enjoyable overall, so that's the preset I used for my tests. Tokyo adds too much bass to the music for my taste, while Copenhagen is a touch too bright. The Boston profile is way too similar to that popular V-shaped sound with its boosted bass and highs, but I feel like the mids get a bit neglected there. With all that said, I feel like SonarWorks nailed the job in terms of tuning these presets and giving everyone an option that they will like. And while I tend to complain about the lack of manual EQ settings, this selection of presets will probably make 90% of the users happy. But back to the actual sound of the headphones, using the Amsterdam profile, the Fairbuds XL sounds punchy and powerful enough in the low end without any overhang. Mids are rich sounding and tonally correct, even if a touch pushed back in the mix, which means that vocals won't be that much out front and center. Instruments have a natural timbre, but separation is a bit lacking and you won't find that much space or air between the individual elements on the stage either. It's a bit of a closed-in sound, which is not a surprise given their closed-back design, but I heard more airy and open headphones in the category. I also heard a more focused image before. What we get here is a bit more diffused and less precise. The top end is ever so slightly rolled off, and we only get the necessary amount of detail in the treble without that extra sparkle or energy that would make the headphones sound more airy and exciting. Instead, we get this smooth sound, which might not be as impressive at first, but it is really comfortable and enjoyable in the long run due to the lack of ear fatigue. So if that sort of punchy but smooth sound character is your cup of tea, then the Fairbuds XL can deliver, but if you want a more forward, detailed and sparkling sound signature, then these cans might not be your best bet. And in conclusion, I have to say that I'm most impressed by these wireless headphones. For 250 euros, you can get a fresh-looking, smooth-sounding and comfortable pair of headphones with excellent controls and a decent active noise cancellation. It might not sound cheap at first, but they can save you some money down the road because you can always opt for buying a new battery, a headband or an ear pad instead of wasting your hard-earned cash on brand new headphones every once in a while. And of course there are many people out there who will appreciate the effort Fairphone is putting into making their products as green and fair as possible. So if you are one of those folks, then these headphones are probably your only option right now to make you feel really good about your next buy. Links in the description. And that was my review of the Fairphone Fairbuds XL. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to leave a comment should you have anything to add or ask. Thanks for watching everyone. See you all in the next one.